You've been fighting yourself for a long time, and the strange part is, no one ever told you to stop. Every failure came with the same verdict. You didn't push hard enough, so you pushed. You woke up earlier, you tried new routines, you promised yourself, again. And for a moment, it worked. Then something slipped, and when it did, the blame returned. Quietly, heavily. But here's the contradiction no one prepares you for. Some people barely talk about discipline, yet they show up every day. No hype, no struggle stories, no dramatic resets, just consistency. And that should make you uncomfortable, because if discipline were about willpower, they'd be fighting harder than you. But they're not fighting at all. If discipline came from effort, the most exhausted people would be the most consistent. So why aren't they? Willpower feels heroic. It sounds like control, like strength, like moral superiority. It's why we admire people who push through. But notice something subtle. Willpower stories always involve suffering, grinding, resisting, forcing, and suffering feels meaningful even when it's ineffective. That's the trap. Because when discipline hurts, you assume it must be working. But pain isn't proof. It's feedback. And the feedback you keep ignoring is this. Something is wrong with the setup. What if the struggle you're proud of is the reason nothing sticks? Pay attention to your day, not the big moments, the small ones, the pause before starting, the mental bargaining, the delay disguised as planning. I'll do it after this. I just need the right mood. I'll start fresh tomorrow. That's not laziness, that's friction. Two forces pulling in opposite directions. And here's the uncomfortable part. You're using willpower to compensate for resistance that shouldn't exist. When discipline requires negotiation, you're already paying interest. Effort is supposed to stack. If you try long enough, things should become automatic. But for many people, they don't. They restart. Again, and again, and again. Same intentions, same promises, same disappointment. So ask yourself, slowly, if willpower worked, why does it keep resetting to zero? That question exposes something most people never face. Maybe discipline isn't failing. Maybe it's being asked to do the wrong job. Willpower was never meant to run your life. It's emergency fuel. For moments that matter. Decisions that can't be automated. But you've been using it for everything. Every habit, every routine, every temptation, and emergency fuel burns fast. That's why discipline doesn't collapse at the start. It collapses later, when no one's watching, when the day has already taken too much. Notice when discipline disappears. Not in the morning. At night. At night, rules soften, standards blur. The voice in your head changes. You don't suddenly lose values, you lose fuel. Willpower fades quietly. And when it does, your surroundings take control. Screens glow louder. Comfort feels closer. Shortcuts look reasonable. This isn't weakness, it's predictability. If your discipline depends on how you feel, it's already temporary. Who's actually making the decisions? 1200 to 1400. You believe you're choosing, but most behavior isn't chosen. It's cued. By what's nearby, what's easy, what's familiar. You don't decide to scroll, your phone decides for you. The disciplined don't resist temptation. They rarely encounter it. Not through strength, but through absence. The most powerful discipline happens before awareness. We praise self-control. But think about what that implies. Constant restraint, endless resistance, permanent tension. That's not freedom. That's a life built on holding your breath. What if discipline isn't control at all? What if it's the removal of friction? No argument, no debate, no heroic effort. When there's nothing to resist, nothing feels difficult. If discipline feels dramatic, it won't survive boredom. Motivation feels like progress. It spikes, it excites, it convinces. But it's unstable. Sleep changes it. Mood distorts it. Validation manipulates it. You can't build consistency on something that fluctuates. The disciplined don't feel inspired. They feel neutral. And neutrality doesn't argue. When discipline stops feeling emotional, it finally becomes dependable. I'm trying to be disciplined. That sentence carries weight. Trying means effort. Effort means resistance. So every action feels heavy. The disciplined don't try, they default. Not because they're special, but because their identity isn't fighting their behavior. Alignment removes effort. When who you are stops arguing with what you do, willpower disappears. Fresh starts feel clean, new plans, new rules, new hope. But restarting is often avoidance, because it's easier to reset than to remove what keeps pulling you back. Same environment, same cues, same escape routes, different promises, same ending. If nothing around you changes, effort won't save you. If I were stronger, this would be easy. That belief sounds responsible, but it quietly turns discipline into shame. And shame kills consistency. Not loudly, slowly. Discipline collapses fastest when failure feels personal. There's a moment, usually unnoticed, when disciplined people stop asking, "How do I force myself?" and start living inside a different question, a quieter one that doesn't involve strength. When that shift happens, discipline stops being effort. It becomes gravity. When resistance disappears, discipline feels inevitable. So here's where we leave it unresolved. If discipline becomes easy when willpower disappears, what replaces it? What quietly shapes behavior when motivation fades? And why do so few people ever see it, even after years of trying? The answer isn't exciting. It won't feel powerful. But once you see it, you can't unsee it. And discipline stops being a fight. It becomes something else entirely. Not now, not yet, but soon. If this video changed how you see discipline, subscribe Psychora. Here we don't sell motivation, we build systems that work.